Good morning, guys. Welcome to Damien Jardina's Auto Experience. Hope you guys are well and happy. As you guys can see through visual, I'm here with Coach Nathan from Clean Health Fitness. Me and Nathan met you work at Clean Health, and I was attending a course at Byron Lane. Bumped into Nate, got along, we were sharing some good topics about, fat loss and stuff like that. We said, hey, we should do a podcast and give all the value to you guys. So thank you very much, Nathan, coming on board today.
Thanks.
So before we start, why don't you tell the audience who you are and where you come from? You told me you weren't obviously born in Sydney. So tell everyone about you.
I'm an Aussie. I'm from the Gold Coast originally. That's where I grew up, and that's where I sort of started getting into fitness and that sort of thing. And then I moved down south closer to Melbourne in a small town. I was in Albury-Wodonga.
Yep.
And that's where, I sort of developed some of my fitness stuff, and I started flying up to Clean Health to do their courses probably 4 years ago. When I started doing the courses, I learned a little bit more about nutrition and performance coaching, and I thoroughly enjoyed the way they run things. So went for a job and moved up to Sydney to pursue the dream.
Yeah, Sydney's a bit different, completely different,
Totally
isn't
different. Yeah, so I sort of had to get used to that. Had to live with different people. Never lived in an apartment for an
Crazy
example.
and different.
Like, it's all houses.
You live in the Coogee, the best place to be, especially summer coming up in Sydney, right?
100%.
Awesome. So, like I said, me and Nathan are going to be talking about, calories, tracking. We're going to talk about all different types of things today to give value to you guys. If you guys are cutting, bulking, definitely stay tuned because I'm going to give you some awesome information to you guys as well. So let's talk about, let's start off talking about, let's just start about calories.
Yep.
Calories, if someone wants to cut, someone wants to bulk, what calories they should be consuming.
Mm-hmm.
I spoke recently about obviously calorie deficit and calorie surplus, but me and Nathan will go a bit more thorough into it as well, and how to track calories, weekly tracking as well, which is awesome for you guys to do that as well.
Yeah.
And so let's start off with calories. So let's just say, let's talk about fat loss. So fat loss is someone that obviously wants to drop body fat.
Definitely.
So obviously we spoke about, calorie deficit, how calorie deficits are very important, and how to put yourself in a calorie deficit. So why don't you tell us how to put yourself in a calorie deficit?
So there's your easiest way is obviously you want to figure out where that baseline is for you. Obviously everyone's a little bit different. Your muscle tone and your body fat levels are going to determine where your baseline is. So figure that out. There's heaps of different ways. We just use that calculator online, TDEE.
That's total daily energy expenditure.
Yep.
And that's what that does for you guys. That just works out everything, like your NEAT, your BMR, your physical activity as well, a thermic effect on food as well.
No thermic effect of food, I don't think.
No?
Not on the TDEE.
On TDEE? No.
Very simple, very easy. You just put in your age, body weight, body fat percentage, which you can get from any tool or even just guessing to start with, easy. And then it'll spit out a very, very broad baseline. Really good way to start. So that's how many calories you'll expend in a day. For an example of how active you are. Really easy to start there, and then once you put yourself on those calories, you'll know if it is your baseline or not. If you check your body weight every day, if you're not moving, then it is your baseline. It's just a predicted baseline anyway. So if you are moving, if you're sort of dropping weight, then you probably aren't eating enough, and your baseline's a little bit higher because your activity level could be a bit different anyway. Figuring it out from there first.
So from there, from your maintenance as well, that helps with your maintenance as well.
Yeah.
Now, if you wanted to, obviously work at your TDD, which is a very important start to make from there. Someone wants to drop body fat, determines on how much you want to do aggressive cut or slight cut as well. So talking about obviously moving to a calorie deficit. So first of all, you work at your TDEE, and then from there you can minus 5, 10, 20%, whatever. It depends how aggressive your cut wants to be. So you guys can just work at your TDEE first and put yourself in a calorie deficit. Let's stay with your calorie deficit. How many let's talk about obviously the importance of in a calorie deficit. What macronutrients are very important. We'll also talk about protein. How protein is probably the main macronutrient you should really hitting and targeting the most. So give me some value about why protein's important, especially in a cut.
Cool. All right. So protein's important to obviously maintain muscle. So when you're in a cut, and we want to be losing body fat, not body weight. So we want to be dropping that off. Plus, protein is, like we spoke about, thermic effective food. It's got the highest thermic effective food. So it's going to utilize a lot of calories to break that down inside your body. So it's having that higher is just better for the deficit in that terms.
Yeah.
And it also makes you feel a lot more full.
Yeah.
So the satiety index is a lot
as
better.
well. Yeah. Exactly.
So a good amount of protein spread out evenly throughout the day.
And how much protein should we like just recommend? So I know there's different, obviously for your clients and my clients, how, you know, some of my clients that listen to this now, probably for girls, especially someone that's getting a bit older in their 40s and 50s, they're probably going to move up to 2.6 or 2.7 per gram. So obviously when you get older, protein levels should be increasing as well. So let's just say for like a woman, like what protein target they should be consuming?
Yeah, like you said, so 2.2 or something, that's good to be worked out off that lean body mass.
Yep, definitely.
So depending on how much weight you've got, you want to be taking off the body fat as a percentage.
Yep.
Times about 2.2 to start with. I think that's always a good start.
That's a good start, yeah, exactly.
And then working that up. If they feel hungry, put it higher. As simple as that.
Put it higher.
Obviously, you want to watch their digestion and stuff as well. If the protein's too high, they might not be digesting it well. So that's something to talk about with the client on a daily or weekly basis. And then watch it from there. You might want to drop it if their digestion's impaired.
Yeah, and obviously helps you maintain that muscle mass as well,
100%,
right? Because I think a lot of people do when they go into a cut, they drop their protein too low, or they don't even focus on their protein. And the next minute, just like you get skinny lean. You know, lose all that muscle that they've done during a calorie surplus, which we'll talk about.
Yeah.
So make sure, guys, when you are cutting, make sure you're always hitting that protein goal. But I think we were talking like obviously you guys at Clean Health, how they obviously what I learned from Buy Lane in the past few weeks, done of course with Buy Lane is. If someone can't really track, you know, you can just track your calories and just track your protein.
It's a really good start.
Yeah.
Learning to track's hard, and it's hard to know sort of what's a fat and what's a carb and that sort of thing. But calories and protein are your two most important ones.
Yep.
Filling with fats and carbs is you can be quite lenient on.
Yeah. And obviously talking about like obviously macronutrients, staying on that topic as well. Some people, especially my clients, and some people talking about what percentage should I be doing? Obviously, your macros make up your calories, which I think a lot of people get that wrong, right?
Yeah.
Macros make up your calories. So first of all, you're going to work out your macros, especially so you sort out your protein first, and then you do carbs. You do fats and carbs, leave that towards the end as well. They just fill it out. So guys, you can do like the 40-40-20 approach, which I find that is awesome for Gen Pop as well. But obviously it depends on the athlete and stuff like that.
Definitely depends.
Yeah.
Depends what you're sort of looking after and how low you're going. As you sort of get into that deficit, you want to make sure that you're having enough fats. Obviously, we know that helps support their hormones and keeps your body in check while you're losing weight. So I always recommend, if you can, and it's not too low, to keep your fats at 1 gram per kilo of body weight.
Beautiful.
So if you're 80, keeping your fats at least 80 grams, then dropping most of it from the carbs.
Yep.
That way, you obviously your fats and your cholesterol is how you make testosterone and your other sex hormones in your body. So you need those there.
Yeah.
And then dropping away from your carbs is probably the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously fats, that's awesome as well. Carbohydrates. I see a lot of people say, I'm in a cut, I'm doing a calorie deficit, I'm going to be dropping my carbs. And then you ask someone, well, how do you lose that 5-10 kilos?
Yeah.
And then they come to me, they say, well, I just dropped my carbs.
Yeah.
And it's just like how people just really believe carbs. I put someone on Instagram the other day and people are just like, you know, if you're dropping your carbs, you drop calories as well. I think a lot of people are getting mixed up as well.
Yeah.
Like it's important to keep your carbohydrates there, keep you full.
Yeah, they need to be
full,
there as
keep
well.
your muscles, keep your volume as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, who wants to have low energy throughout their workout? They're doing a weight resistant workout. People just cut carbs completely, like doing stuff like, you know, keto as well. But don't get me wrong, keto is awesome.
It works for a percentage of people that are going to comply well.
Yeah.
And that sort of might need that more aggressive approach, and it's good to keep you healthy in different ways anyway. But yeah, going on to carbs, like you said, you need them. You need glucose. You need it for your brain.
Yep.
You need 120 grams per day for brain function.
Beautiful.
You need it to keep your muscles full, like you said, to look better. No one wants to lose weight but then look sloppy in the mirror, like it doesn't look good either.
Yeah.
So you sort of want to fill that up. That helps pull the water in and some of your other nutrients into the muscle.
Yeah. Also recovery as well, especially after your
really
session.
Good for recovery and repair.
You know, restores your glycogen stores as well.
Yeah, 100%.
After your workout.
So yeah, like you said, don't just cut those carbs out straight away.
Yep.
Be conservative about your approach and just sort of cut the amount that you might need and watch how much body weight you're losing. If you're losing too much body weight, which might be like we spoke about with Buy Lane, he sort of recommends that 1.2 grams per kilo of body weight. If you're sort of losing too much, like if you're 80 and you're losing 800 grams or 900 grams per week, you're going to start losing more muscle anyway.
Correct.
So if you cut out all your carbs straight away, that's when you're probably going to be losing too fast. So yeah, be conservative about it and keep some of the glucose in there. It's good for you.
That's awesome. But obviously, guys, being a calorie deficit, we spoke about macros and calories. Put yourself in a calorie deficit to obviously lose as well. Obviously, calories is very important for weight loss. But I think a lot of people don't talk about is sleep, stress, and all those things, which a lot of people don't, look at those things deeply and how those really affect fat loss as well.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And I had a client which I put in a calorie deficit, and she was losing body fat.
Yeah.
And she just kind of plateaued for a bit.
Yeah.
But then we worked out her sleep approach was only getting 5-6 hours a night.
Yeah.
And it was pretty bad. And obviously,
So
when
bad.
you have a shit sleep, you're highly stressed, your cortisol, you feel fuller, you feel water, all that shit. And actually, scale was going up. Her scale was going up when she was dropping fat. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I just really looked into this approach, and obviously worked out her sleep was shit. And she was highly stressed.
Yeah.
And obviously, when someone's really highly stressed, you usually go straight to their sleep.
Yeah.
How you sleeping at night.
It's a good way to start,
Yeah, so I looked at her sleep, and she was only sleeping 5-6 hours a night.
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough. She was highly stressed, and she was getting a lot of water retention as well.
Water, yeah.
Obviously, we started looking at the approach, obviously where the stress is occurring from. Okay, we looked at that. And obviously, once you started slowing down the stress levels, reducing the stress, her sleep started getting a lot more better. More of a deep sleep. Put carb backloading on top of that. People guys know what carbs is. Obviously, carbs helps with serotonin, neurotransmitter, helps you get into a deeper sleep, makes you feel good. So started doing that, and she just started dropping weight all of a sudden or immediately. So let's stay on the sleep, guys. Like how sleep and stress is very important, how that's going to impact. I know much briefly about sleep and stress, obviously how they work well together. So let's just say, obviously someone's obviously staying on the calorie deficit phase. Why is it important to talk about sleep and stress?
Okay, so obviously sleep is the time that your body's starting to recover.
Exactly.
That's the time that your body needs to repair.
Yep.
And like you said, to your cortisol curve, it's going to need to balance out so that some of your other hormones can work at play as well.
Yep.
Cortisol isn't, it's a stress hormone, but it's actually your anti-stress hormone.
Yep.
It's just something that you need to be managed. It can't be like you can't have none of it and you can't have too much of it.
Yep.
Like you said, carb backloading, really good approach to help you sleep. As well as maybe even having turkey, like a white meat with that carbs for tryptophan. That always helps you sleep as well.
Never heard about that one. Yeah.
It's a good one. Look into that. So
yep.
That helps release some of your melatonin and stuff as well, or supplementing with melatonin. So really important to just help you get out of a stress state and help your body recover.
Yeah, definitely, guys. So sleep is very, very important as well. Like you guys know, when you have a shit sleep, the next day you're very foggy. You obviously have a shit session as well. You don't hit those PBs. You don't have those good mind-to-muscle connection as well because you're just very sleepy.
You're less compliant. When you're tired, you don't want to follow the diet as much. You don't want to move as much.
You tend to binge as well.
Yeah. Like, you're not going to get your steps in.
Yesterday I had a shit sleep and I was just binging on carbs just to keep my energy levels up.
100%.
You know what I mean? Actually made me more tired.
Yeah.
So guys, sleep is very important. I think a lot of people don't, look into those things as well, and how sleep is very important because obviously when you sleep, you grow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
If you have a shit sleep, you won't grow. Especially in a calorie deficit, you want to retain your muscles. So sleep is probably the fucking most important.
Definitely.
Obviously, thing.
And like you said, sleep and stress.
Sleep and stress as well.
So important.
Yeah. Like if someone's like, let's just stay on stress as well, because I get a lot of questions on Instagram and saying, "Damn, I'm highly stressed at night," and what's some tips and hints to help someone de-stress?
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So I just found, obviously, find where the stress is occurring.
Yeah.
And just obviously fix that up. If it's something to be family, financial, really sit down and actually work that out with your partner or your relationship as well. I think that's an important thing as well.
Definitely isolate it first.
Yep.
With your stress, I think it's very environmental as well. So it's your circumstance, like you said, the people around you and the things that are happening in your life. But it's environmental too. So it's making sure that maybe if you do some work at home, you're not doing it in your bedroom or in your lounge room. You've got that separated so that you want to be able to come home and de-stress. You want to be able to come home to a place that you feel comfortable and that stress is removed. So remove that from the environment, or make sure you're going for a nice walk, or do something that helps for you. Meditate, anything like that. Gratitude, like getting yourself in a parasympathetic state, which is reducing that stress and where you feel good. It's very individual, but figuring that out and taking your time to figure that out is so important to help. Like we said, that'll help improve your testosterone and lower your leptin and that sort of stuff as well, so that you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. So guys, like the stress is very important. Stress and sleep going well in hand. Yeah. And obviously, talking about sleep, how can someone get into a bit of a deeper sleep? Why can't people like waking up in the middle of the night or can't even get to sleep, it's usually due to like obviously there's something to do obviously stress as well, which we just talk about. But obviously blue light, you know, being on the phone late at night as well. You know, that's obviously waking you up. You know, sometimes when you're late at night scrolling through his Instagram, there's people on Instagram scrolling through, liking all those photos. Yeah, that's actually going to increase your adrenaline as well. Especially one of the you've probably seen. You know, you just plug on Instagram, you see all those girls on Instagram with their ass out. You know, these days. You know what I mean?
100%.
And it gets your adrenaline's pumping, especially for us boys.
Yeah, it does.
Find it hard to get into that deep sleep as well. So
yeah, and that blue light does really affect your lights. You feel like you should be awake. That's your natural. Naturally, you think that should be the time when you're awake. So removing that, removing Wi-Fi or anything if you can as well. Making sure that the room is pitch black dark. So if you've got any lights in the room, try and get rid of those.
Yeah, 100%.
And then like you said,
have you seen those blue light, those goggles?
Yeah. Heaps of people wear them.
Fuck, so smells like it's another day.
I just turn it off, get rid of it. It's so much better.
Yeah, you don't want to be with your girlfriend with those.
Or like you said, the food. So a lot of the time, if you are falling asleep but you're waking up pretty soon after, that could be your body having a hypo or a reaction to like a hypoglycemic from the glycemic index from your food.
Cool.
So you want to have carbs at night, but you also don't want to have too much of it as glucose. Or like short acting. You want to have some slow releasing carbs.
Slow release carbohydrates.
So there's two ways to do that. Either change your carb source, get rid of the sugary sort of types of one. Your complex carbs, get them in there, or put the fats in that carb meal as well.
Okay.
Fats will make the carbs release more slow, and then you might, if that's you, the sort of person that's rising after like an hour, that should help prevent that sort of thing.
Yeah.
As well as obviously looking at, are you in a pre-diabetic state? Maybe your insulin's not in the right sort of state to be using that glucose properly yet. So dropping that body fat, like we said, it'll all work hand in hand. It'll help you sleep.
Yeah. Awesome, guys. That's right. So sleep and stress, very, very important as well. Fat loss, calorie deficit, work out your stress, obviously your stress and sleep. Make sure you get optimal sleep as well. Let's talk about, talking about calorie deficit tracking. Okay, a lot of clients are saying, hey, I can't be fucked tracking, which I understand. I don't track myself. Sometimes I track myself now and then, but it's hard. You track one day and the other day just blow out. It's up and down. So me and Nathan as coaches, we do understand where you're coming from. We're not going to be like, make sure you track. It works for some people, but some people, it's awesome. It keeps them accountable, tracking, working out their calories as well. So let's talk about, obviously tracking. For someone, wants to start tracking, what's some tips that we can help with people who want to track? Obviously, you can use like, MyFitnessPal is an awesome app to use. Yeah, so obviously coach works out your calories. Go to MyFitnessPal, and obviously coach will do all those, macro percentages for you, and you can start tracking from that as well. But obviously someone just cannot be bothered putting their calories into a bloody app. Yeah. Okay, obviously, what's another way people can actually...
So there's a few ways. Obviously, I think the most important thing is explaining the simplicity of tracking.
Yeah, cool.
Obviously, it is hard at the start, but if you sort of want to cover first, while you're heating your food up in the microwave, you can track it in your app. Like, it doesn't take long, so learning how to track and how easy it is, definitely give it a crack. If you can't do it after a few weeks and you still want another way to do it, I think the biggest thing is sort of moving towards, depends where you're at in your training, but your satiety index. So you should know when you've eaten too much.
Yeah.
You should feel too full.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so sort of making sure that you're only feeling 70% full, or if that's sort of affecting you as well, make sure you're filling up on those lower calorie foods. So talk to your coach about what sort of foods can I have that are not as calorie dense. So that's sort of, we want to remove you from snacking on fats. So a lot of the time people snack on nuts and that sort of thing, thinking they're a healthy food.
In those foods.
It's so calorie dense, and you can eat them all.
Yeah.
So getting rid of those and adding in greens, a lot of salads and stuff instead. Taking out sweet potato and putting in pumpkin, sort of swapping out for those those lower calorie foods will be a really good way to start.
Yeah, that's why high protein diets are important, because it keeps you full as well.
Yeah, without tracking.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So we spoke about that, how that's very, very important as well. So let's talk about some, obviously tracking as well, weekly tracking. Yeah. Okay. So I've had a few clients that, let's just say like binging. There's nothing wrong with that. I do it the same as well, but a lot of clients that obviously their job occurring where they got a lot of functions on, especially coming up to Christmas time. Christmas functions, functions, birthday parties, and it comes to their weekends where they're consuming a shitload of calories as well. Mm-hmm. And obviously when you have a lot of calories, especially if you want to lose body fat, having too many calories obviously the weekend. There's a lot of people say, Damien, why am I not losing body fat? I'm good Monday to Friday. But I say, okay, how's your Saturday and Sunday? Like, well, 4,000 calories. I don't really count. I go out for dinner. And obviously people don't encounter the oils, the sauces, the butters are in there.
There's all your fats again. They're coming up and they're hidden and the calories are high.
Crazy. And then it takes a few days to burn off those calories. People don't realise, like, it's just because I had a shit Saturday night. Well, Sunday, you can still be burning off the calories from Saturday night. People don't realise, like,
and like we know, your fourth macronutrient, it's protein, fats, carbs, but alcohol's a macronutrient as well.
Oh, talk about alcohol.
It's got more calories than carbs does, so make sure that you know that every time you drink, you're having at least 100 calories without sugar added to the vodka or whatever straight you're having.
Yeah.
So, including those, if you've had 15 drinks, there's your added inclusive for the week, and
that's
you're
done.
Over your deficit.
Exactly. So guys, if you're like one of those people that just like love your weekends, don't get me wrong, I love my weekends, love my alcohol as well, and you just want to kind of bring up your calories, because who wants to be in a calorie deficit on the weekend if you've got some special event on? The last thing I want to do is see one of my clients at a beautiful, like a function or family event, and they're stuck and you're secluded to MyFitnessPal tracking their calories, and it's going to get them highly stressed because they're not like, you know, they're going to get peer pressure. They eat this, eat that. Well, I can't. My coach said I can't have this. I have a bit of calorie deficit. So they probably get a negative response from that stress, and that's not going to help them lose body fat at all. So
managing and planning, pre-planning. You've got to pre-plan. If you know that you're going to go out, which you do every time. You've got an event on. Just say like, I'm going to, like you said, eat less during the week. But then be like, if I'm going to a place that's going to have heaps of food and alcohol, how much am I going to have? Because at the end of the day, that's your decision. So it's a decision that you've got to make beforehand, and you shouldn't make it when you're already drunk.
I know, that's hard. You just have 1, 2, 3 drinks.
So put it down. I'm going to have 5. I'm going to allow myself to have a few. I'll feel pretty good after that. And I'm going to leave room for dinner. But as long as you've had less during the week, and maybe like still talking about protein, have a good protein meal with only like a salad or like lower calories before you're going out. And then so you've got a lot of room to play with at the end of the day. That Saturday night.
Exactly, guys. And Nathan just gave some like, awesome stuff. Like weekly tracking is something very important as well. Like you're just talking to your coach, or text me, Nathan, on Instagram. We'd love to help you with that as well. Weekly tracking, so you can just say, pretend you're having like, let's say, 7,000 calories a week. Obviously Monday to Friday you have like low amounts of calories, and you might be able to hit at least 2,500 to 3,000 calories on that Saturday and Sunday. Depends on the week on those days before as well. So that's something, guys, you can do that as well. Staying on, you're talking about alcohol. Yeah?
Go for it.
So alcohol, I love my alcohol. You love your alcohol?
Definitely.
Yeah, nothing wrong with alcohol, guys. Nothing wrong with alcohol. I love my red wine, especially organic red wine I've been having lately. It's good. It helps you wind down before night until deeper sleep. That's what I find as well. And people like, the worst thing you do is a client comes up to me and says, Damien, I love my alcohol. Me, as a coach, I will never say you have to cut that fucking alcohol out unless they're having a bottle or 2 a day. That's something that we have to really look into. But
definitely,
me as a coach, I don't know how about you, but I like taking if it fits my macros as well as flexible diet. And I find that approach gets my clients better results in a faster state than saying chicken and rice, count this. You can't have chocolate, can't have wine. Your clients just like sometimes they get to, and I've had that approach where I'm like, no alcohol, no chocolates. Make sure we're keeping everything lean, high protein. I've had clients
and
that
even
say,
if it is a better approach,
the door.
They're not going to be compliant to it. So
who wants to stick to a diet? Like that's why I think diet plans are not really working these days.
You can't implement them to your lifestyle. It's something that you want to be able to stick to. If you have an understanding of calories and then foods, and then you can later, like you said, we don't track all the time, but we sort of, where you are, and then you might use tracking as a tool at some point in time to change your body composition. But alcohol, definitely. If it fits your macros, is a really good way to start. But then realizing that on a deeper level, it is going to play some role on your hormones.
If you drink too much, I think Lane was talking about. When we're talking about Lane, we're talking about alcohol. How alcohol affects muscle protein synthesis. I can't even say that. How that affects obviously your proteins and your muscle mass as well, and obviously fat stores as well. Obviously there's shitload of calories in alcohol drinks. Depends what you've been having.
So
obviously having mojitos and margaritas, sugars, glucose. 100%. That's shitload of calories as well. You know what I mean? So so obviously I think Byland was talking about how much alcohol is going to affect your protein levels, and obviously your protein breakdowns and your digestion system of absorbing that protein. I think Byland was mentioning It says if you have too much, when you have too much alcohol. If you're feeling the effect of alcohol, especially the next morning or that night when you're feeling a bit dizzy, and when you're feeling that tipsy feeling, BioLane said that's probably a sign that hey, that's affecting your insides as well. But if you're having 1-2 drinks, during the week, I don't think that for me it's going to affect you.
And that's it. It's usually around that 2 standard drinks per 24 hours.
Exactly.
Maybe up to 3 if you're a bigger bloke.
Yep.
But there's a study that sort of does talk about that and how much it will impair your testosterone and other hormones as well. Which I can link to you for the podcast if you want.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So obviously alcohol depresses your testosterone, guys, if you don't know that as well.
Which is for the muscle building, so.
Yeah, awesome. You need to test build muscle, right?
Girls and guys.
Girls and guys, that's it. Cool, guys. So obviously we spoke about calorie deficits and stuff like that. Obviously we're going to move into, let's talk about calorie surplus. So we spoke about someone else to lose body fat. We gave some guys tips and hints about that. Calorie surplus. Okay, exactly the same thing. Work at your TDD, and then obviously eat a bit more calories in, calories in versus calories out.
Yeah.
Talking about calories in versus calories out, I think we spoke about BioLane. Like obviously, the more calories you have in is kind of going to affect your calories out as well.
Yeah.
That's something I found really interesting as well.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So we sort of categorize it as metabolic types.
Yeah.
Everyone's got a different metabolic type, and so you could either be efficient or more inefficient or more stable. So that just sort of refers to if someone consumes more calories, they might naturally start moving more. So there's your NEAT levels, so non-exercise activity levels, or thermogenesis. So your body just starts moving more, you start to blink more, stuff that you can't really control. That'll start to increase, or you might just naturally, if you watch your steps might increase as well. So that's someone that's sort of fluctuating with the calories, but not everyone does. Some people do, some people don't. So you've just sort of got to watch that. I know I'm pretty stable. I only really need to go 10% above TDE, and my body weight will change, and I'll notice the difference. Like whereas some other people might not notice anything at 20%. As soon as they hit 20% over that calorie TDE, they start gaining, and it starts increasing. So just watch that yourself. Again, as always, you want to make sure you're watching the weight pretty closely, or watching your skin folds or body fat, however you're doing it. Use a tool to track your body composition. Watch it closely for the first few weeks until you find where you need to be. And just realize that you are an individual, and one approach might take a few weeks to settle for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like weigh-ins, and obviously weigh-ins and photos are something you do obviously do clean health as well with my clients as well. Like we do photos. Very important to see 100%. because obviously being in calorie surplus, you are likely to gain body fat.
Yeah,
a lot of people come up to me, Damien, I want to grow, I want to build muscle, but I don't want to build fat. I'm like, listen, first of all, you are going to put body fat on. Okay, it obviously depends on the foods. Okay, yes, we can lower down the body fat by putting you in a slight calorie surplus and slowly build it from there. What I find a lot of people do, which I found myself, the dirty bulk approach.
So easily.
I love the dirty bulk approach. Obviously me playing professional football overseas. My metabolism was fucking high. I was eating a shitload of calories, and I was just getting leaner. Obviously I wasn't in calorie surplus. But I was training 3-4 times a day. High intensity, in and out, on my feet. And obviously my NEAT levels are through the roof.
A lot of sportsmen.
It was crazy. It was crazy. But for me, I wanted to put on muscle. I wanted to put on a bit of body fat because I was just looking very lean and skinny. I didn't like that approach.
It's hard.
So that's when I had to, go into dirty bulking. Like, it's hard to eat clean.
Sugar.
Because obviously, I'm not saying clean. I know that clean approach is a bit iffy and biffy with some people, but eating those high protein meals, carbohydrates, obviously salads and beans, obviously they contain a bit of a lower calorie than dirty bulk. Like dirty bulking meals, like all those macas and high calories. So I was consuming a shitload of calories for that, and then I started seeing my weight go up, and I was feeling awesome. So. Don't use the dirty bulk approach because obviously my cholesterol went up and it was fucking bad.
And your inflammation.
I was looking fat, I was looking full.
Depends where you're at, hey. It depends, that's it, situational. If your circumstances allow you to sort of fit that sort of thing in, then it might be better. But if you're the sort of person that gets inflamed pretty quickly from foods, then take a better micronutrient dense approach.
You understand your body. So if you guys go into a bit of a surplus, I think it's better off is to start with a slight surplus, see your body reacts, and then go from there. The last thing you'll do is just go for an aggressive surplus, put a shitload of fat on. You probably put on more fat than muscle. Depends. Obviously depends, and it's going to be hard to cut back down. You know what I mean? You don't want to. You want to do a bit of a more of a I say lean bulk.
Yeah.
You know, much muscle
and
mass
knowing where you start, like as long as if you've done the diet first, you're in a lean state. Your body's in a more insulinogenic state, and those nutrients are going to be pushed to your muscles a lot better if you start pretty lean. As a girl or a guy, you want to be able to see a bit of a six-pack or something before you start that bulk. Otherwise, like you said, it's going to go to fat.
That's a tip. That's an awesome tip as well. I got told that like a year ago. It's like someone once just said, if you want to start putting on some muscle mass and start bulking and reduce your body fat, they actually say do a cut first.
100%.
Lean up first. That's obviously seeing your six pack, get a bit lean, and then start putting you guys in a bit of a certain calorie surplus. Yeah.
So that you can actually transport the nutrients that you're adding in to your muscles. So that's where they're repairing rather than the mitochondria of your fat cells.
Exactly. 100%. It's going to help you cut as well when you go into a calorie deficit as well.
Yeah.
So obviously staying in the calorie surplus phase, obviously let's talk about training. Let's talk about training. We talk about training and calorie deficit, but this is obviously calorie deficit and calorie surplus is kind of very, very similar.
Yeah.
Training is very important for building muscle.
It is.
You know what I mean? Obviously,
and maintaining muscle.
Exactly. Yeah. Building muscle, maintaining muscle. It goes for calories. Someone that's losing body fat, as well as someone building body fat. Talk about training. How training is very, very important.
Yeah.
So let's talk about obviously for someone building muscle and someone losing body fat. How compound movements is very important.
Important for both.
Moving more than a few more muscle groups at once.
Yeah.
Progressive overload. What do you think about approaching progressive overload?
Obviously, it's necessary. You need to progressively overload. You need to make sure that your periodization scheme is going to allow you to do that. Whether that's, I like to do an undulating approach where you're doing strength for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you're letting your CNS recover by getting to a few higher reps, a rep range for hypertrophy like 8 to 10 before you're going back to strength, but making sure that you are going back into a strength period, whether you are in a deficit or in a surplus, so that you can build that muscle and continuously be progressive. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So progressive overload. So you think probably everyone should be up in the weight maybe every fortnight, every week?
Yeah, depends. It depends on how that surplus is. Depends on how well you're adapting to it. If it's a new exercise, you're a new trainee, or you're a male, especially, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to put that up. A really easy way for your Gen Pop clients, if you're starting off, you might just do one full body workout. You might not change that at all for the week. You do that 3 times a week. Every single time you do it Monday, on Wednesday, put your weights up. On Friday, put your weights up. If you're getting good at the movement and more efficient at the movement, those weights will go up really quick.
Yeah.
Every session, which is for the next few weeks, and then you can change a session up after that.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously we spoke about muscle building. Obviously, as a beginner, come into a gym. You can build muscle and lose body fat at the same time. So lucky you guys as well.
So lucky.
The reason why, if you guys are wanting to build muscle and lose body fat, if you are this person, like someone that's just starting off the gym, someone that's introduced to new exercises and stuff like that, someone that's maybe just come off, come off an injury for 6 months and getting back into it, that's kind of like a beginner state. Like you can build muscle and lose body fat, being in calorie deficit at the same time. So, but for like more of us guys that is more advanced as well, it's gonna take a fucking shitload of time to build muscle.
It is definitely.
I think by Lane was saying maybe like 1 to 2 kilos each year. I think in muscle mass, unless if you're taking anabolics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yes, as a natural lifter, it's a slow progress.
It is.
And you got to realise that, and that's why I put a post up yesterday, sort of making sure that you're enjoying the process. If you've been into fitness for a couple of years and it's something that you're still trying to build muscle, make sure you are getting into a surplus, you are enjoying yourself, you're not stressed while you're doing that, the training. Otherwise, it's a waste of time. You're only going to put on a little bit of muscle. You will notice it though. 2 kilos does make a difference at the end of the year. You'll see it, but it doesn't sound that much. So it's slow.
It's important. Exactly, very, very important. So let's talk about the approach on refeed dates and diet breaks.
Yeah,
they're very important for obviously maybe we'll talk about reverse dieting as well. So let's stay with reverse dieting. What is reverse dieting? What's your approach in reverse dieting?
Reverse dieting is when you've already cut, you've dropped your calories really low. Your metabolism's been adapted, like we spoke about a little bit before, and now you're holding that weight, but you're also you're only eating a small amount of food. You're really low calories.
Yeah.
All right. We want to get you out of that place, but keep you at a good body composition. So we want to slowly increase your calories, as the calories increase, so will your metabolism and the adaptations that have changed from it. So your BMR is obviously adapted, your basal metabolic rate, from your thyroid and from a few different things, and then so is your NEAT. You've started to move less and blink less and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to slowly put that up as you start to move better and your body's in a better place of utilising hormones or creating them. You'll just keep increasing slowly. So the way that I do a reverse diet, it's a lot better in person because you can skin fold them. You sort of watch their skin folds and you can just keep increasing as long as their weight isn't increasing. Otherwise, like we said, just photos and body weight. Watch that body weight. It will change day to day, so it's good to check the body weight daily and see if we want to get an average of the week, because as soon as you add those calories in, you might add water in as well. So just
stay on that approach, sort of,
Go for it.
Weights, obviously scales and weights, you know what I mean? Yeah. Obviously people weigh themselves.
Yeah.
People step on the let's just say people weigh themselves weekly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weigh themselves weekly, and if they step on that scale, they might had, a few glasses of wine the night before.
Yeah.
Or a few extra calories the night before.
Yeah.
Or they're just highly stressed, they had a shit sleep. That scale will go up, and they're going to think, fuck.
I'm putting 2 kilos this week.
I put on 2 kilos a week, but it's not just that. It's probably the day or the 2 days before that's implemented to have that 2 kilos before.
Yeah.
That's why I used to do that. I used to have that approach.
Yeah.
But a few months ago, I've started doing weekly weigh-ins. After you pass your stools, your urine as well.
Yeah.
Weigh yourself probably the same time every morning if you can.
Yeah.
And that's why. Why do you think that's important?
Yeah, like we said, just get that average, because
just to see how your body's moving, because your body fluctuates every single day.
Fluctuates all the time.
Yeah.
If you're not, and we don't want you following that strict regime every day.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be different every day.
Yep.
You might have moved less, or like you said, your digestion, you haven't gone to the toilet or anything yet. So a weekly average will tell you if you have actually gained, or if it's just the outlier of the week.
Exactly. Yeah. So guys, weighing yourself every day is good. Yeah. But like I said, don't be too strict and too anal about it.
Yeah, it depends on if you're the sort of person that's going to worry you weighing every day, then don't. Like, again, an individual approach. Exactly. You might only want to weigh twice a week and get the average of that. Yeah. At least that's better than once.
Yeah, exactly. But when you guys step on the scale, remember, weight is just not everything's just body fat.
Yeah. And
like, oh my God, I've just stepped on the scale, put on a kilo of fat. Like, it's not fat. It's got
could be water. Yeah,
water weight. Obviously, you've been if you're a younger stage, you're still growing. You're growing muscle. You're growing.
And if it's a reverse, if it's been a few months of a reverse diet, hopefully it is muscle. That's our goal. We're getting you up to higher calories. You weight training the whole time.
And you can put muscle in a reverse diet.
You should definitely. You should be.
It's going to be body fat. I'm like, no. The only way you probably put body fat on in a reverse diet is just like, okay, I finished my competition or whatever approach you take in.
Eat everything.
Done. I'm going to eat everything. That's how you put body fat.
Once you've done a comp or once you've gotten really lean from a diet, that's your most anabolic state, like we sort of touched on before. But you're anabolic in both muscle and fat, which just means you're more prone to growing both of them. So as long as we're utilizing that period, you will grow muscle. If you do it right.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So reverse dieting is important as well. And let's just stay on, let's just say there's a coach out there that wants to ask us a question, which I've had this approach before. Hey, David and Nate, I got my client on 1,200 calories. She's not dropping body fat. She's been on 1,200 calories for the last 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to get a bit more leaner, lose a bit more body fat. What approach should I take? Because I get a lot of questions from coaches these days, and obviously reverse diet is something that I talk to them about.
Cool.
So let's just give that person an approach. I think there's not just for that coach. There's so many clients out there and so many people out there that have got themselves in a calorie deficit. If they're actually counting their calorie deficits and not get anywhere. They're like, I'm stuck. My metabolism is adapted to those calories. Where do I go from here? What should I do?
That's when you, like we said, implement the diet break or refeed. So
that's it.
Refeed is going to help you psychologically. It's going to help you feel better, and that may or may not sort of help you lose the weight. But there has been some studies, especially recently, the Matador study, which we might also include, is sort of telling us that diet breaks do work. So a diet break is longer. That's your period going straight back to baseline. If you're at 1,200, your baseline or your predicted baseline was 2200.
Yep.
You might take a little bit off that because it's impaired and maybe go 2100.
Yep.
Go there, be there for a week to 2 weeks.
1 to 2 weeks. And what's that going to do with that diet break? It's going to restore your hormones.
Yeah. What we spoke about before, the metabolic adaptation.
Exactly.
So it's going to repair all those sort of functions for you. Not 100%, obviously, but to an extent that our metabolism has now changed and we're utilizing those calories a little bit more, and then you can quickly drop straight back into that deficit, and your body's metabolism is going to be a lot slower, or we hope it's going to be a lot slower than the change of food. So you're going to have, your body's going to utilize fats for fuel, and you're going to get rid of body fat when you drop straight back to
Okay, cool. So if someone's going to do, like, take that approach diet break, what macronutrients they focus on the most?
Carbs.
Yeah, carbs. Yeah.
That's what we spoke about before. That helps us repair.
Yep.
Go for it. Add them all back in.
That's it, guys.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, carbs. That's it, guys. If you guys on diet break, just increase your carbs, going to make you feel a lot better. Probably help you sleep better as well.
Yeah, and like we said, the carbs are going to make you hold water. You will hold water when you increase your carbs.
Yep.
So the scales will go up when you do a diet break. Should only be like maybe 2 kilos, depending on how big you are already or how lean you are. Don't worry about that. It's just water. It'll drop straight back off.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah.
So talking about, obviously, water. So how much water should people be having daily? How water impacts how we look. We spoke about BioLane, I found something very interesting, especially for if people listen to this about comp prep as well. This is definitely awesome for you. Has BioLane never changed anything to do with sodium as well as water throughout his comp?
It's not what he does now at all, no.
Yeah, but a lot of coaches these days, which I've seen, is people do water loading and then cut their water maybe 1 to 2 days before.
Yeah.
So but when you cut your water, what do you feel? You feel dehydrated, you feel shit, you feel flat, your muscles look flat.
Yeah.
And all that hard work can just go to waste because you can just step on that stage. That's the prime time you're looking your best.
Yeah.
If you do such thing as cut the sodium out or cut the water, that could just fuck up your whole comp.
100%.
You know what I mean?
You've put in months and months of hard work and then you go and fuck it up just because you want to look that little bit better. Now, obviously, you want to look your best on stage.
Yeah.
But we don't know enough, or there's no specific enough formula to know how your body's going to react with different water and different sodium levels. So if we're trying to remove it all, like you said, you might look flat, or you might look good an hour before the show, and by the time you get on stage, your body's used the water that was left in your muscles for other things, and you've become flat again.
Yeah.
On that one stage count that matters after these few months. So keep the water up, So obviously we want to have a lot of water, and a lot of people are chronically dehydrated. So you want to drink more water the whole time, but if you're coming into a comp, just don't change it in the last week. There's no point changing it.
It's going to put the volume in their muscles, especially you guys jumping on stage.
Yeah.
Obviously, water's going to help with the volume. Like, talking about sodium as well.
Yeah. So
people that cut their salts out. Like, salt's very important.
Salt's important for cramping, and for it'll move the nutrients and water, pulling it in and out of the cell as well. So sodium's important and potassium's important.
Yep.
They both play a role together in that sort of aspect. You usually want to have your potassium slightly higher than sodium. It's a little bit different for different people, but you should have more potassium per day than you do sodium to keep them in a ratio for your muscle building and transporting the nutrients. But again, it's not something that you should play with too much, seeing as at the end of the day, most coaches aren't scientists.
Yeah.
And if you do know a bit more about it, maybe you could do that. But like we said, individual people respond differently, so it's too risky at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is. That's why I guess some of my clients have to do blood tests.
Yeah.
Blood test is very important. I think you do it.
We do blood tests with all our clients depending on who they are and what they need.
Mm-hmm.
It's not something that we do standard just for everyone, but it's something that we might work with a doctor to look at. It might be something that we look at if they're a long-standing client and they come to us and they feel like they have some sort of impaired function, or we notice just from different symptom pictures of how their digestion is or how their temperature is during the day. There's different symptoms that we asked about and look at. But if they come to us and they get a blood test, we might get another blood test 3 months later and see sort of what's changing. But yeah, it is helpful, really helpful. But at the end of the day, if you're just focusing on losing body fat or gaining muscle, you can do it without that. But it is a good way to optimize your thyroid and testosterone function and what your magnesium levels are and stuff like that.
That's very important blood test. I just found that massive difference between obviously testing out your thyroids and stuff like that.
Have you had yours looked at?
Pardon?
Have you had yours looked at?
I had the underactive thyroid gland.
Yeah.
And I think I do still slightly.
Yeah.
I was going to supplement with T3 as a medication, but I didn't.
Good.
We only got to that
Did the
point.
doctor talk to you about that?
Yeah, doctor told me about that because I was underactive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it happened because I was. It's happened because obviously thyroid is obviously you stress that out, or can become underactive. Last year I was going to Greece. I want to look my best. Put myself in a really crazy calorie deficit because I was only 4 weeks out, and I just put myself in an aggressive calorie deficit.
Yeah.
I was training 2 to 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Eating shitload of calories. My body just went fuck. I ended up putting on body fat.
Yeah.
Slow body fat.
Sloppy.
Look sloppy, and my thyroid. I was sleeping shit. I was getting anxiety. I was stressing.
Waking up hot.
Yeah, I was hot. My sleep was very poor, and I just went to get a blood test, and they say you got underactive thyroid. It's because of all that stress. So from there, obviously people that stay in an underactive thyroid gland, which is very hormone, found in the glands, which obviously helps with your metabolism and stuff like that as well.
And temperature regulation. That's why your temperature's all out of whack.
Yeah, very important. So if someone's in underactive thyroid, the best thing to do is if you're in a calorie deficit, it's best to, I think, put yourself,
get out,
even diet breaks or get out, put yourself in a bit of a calorie surplus just to restore that. And then maybe go back into maybe supplements with iron and iodine. It's important as well. Try not to jump back into medication like T3 unless you need it.
Yeah, it's
good. It's hard to get out of T3, right?
Yeah, if you start to use T3, we don't know exactly why your thyroid's impaired or what's happening to the T3.
Yep.
It might be converting to T4, or it might not, or we don't know exactly. We can't just add that in. It's not really good for you, because if it does start converting or not converting properly, and then from T4 converting back to reverse T3, we're not really sure what's happening with you as a different person. So like you said, using different supplements first, or looking at nutrition. Make sure you, like you said, surplus, getting your iodine even from foods, from fish and stuff that.
So true.
Trying to look at all that sort of stuff and getting good fats in, omega-3s and that sort of stuff.
All that stuff as well. Even like talking about all those stuff like supplements. How supplements important. So a lot of people, what they do, which I find, is a lot of people just go waste money, waste time on supplements, which really, do they actually need those supplements? Do they need that protein shake, those BCAAs, amino acids, if they're getting them from foods?
Shouldn't, if you're having enough protein.
Exactly. Let's talk about vegans. Okay. Vegans. I know that game changer things come out, which is another topic we can talk about as well later on, but I don't want to go too much in depth. I know we've probably got a lot of talk about game changer, but a lot of people are turning vegan these days, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, there's right ways and there's wrong ways to do it, and there's right reasons and there's not so correct reasons to do it. So if it's a hard one to touch on, if you're doing it because you care about animals, albeit like that's your choice and that's a great thing to do. If you're doing it because the science says that it's more healthy for you, then it's the wrong reason to do it, because it's not more healthy for you. It's way more difficult for you to get the right nutrients.
Exactly. And if you're using it for fat loss, I think half the population uses it for fat loss.
Which is so crazy.
So we talk about calories in versus calories out.
Calories. You need the right proteins.
Of course.
Sometimes they'll get enough protein, but someone that's on a vegan diet will actually need more protein on average than someone who's not on a vegan diet, because of the different amino acids that they'll be getting from those non-meat products. So those non-meat products are very processed, and they don't have a broad spectrum of all your amino acids. So you'll end up actually having to have a higher protein diet, which is obviously really difficult. They're not having any meat, so they're going to have to try and get it from plants or processed meats, fake meats, which causes more distress on your digestion. And then because you're trying to get protein from plants, those plants obviously have more carbs than a meat would per se, or on average. So then their carbs goes up straight away anyway. So it makes it harder to be in a deficit. And you're not going to get the right vitamins from those. So there's a lot of micronutrients that you need to be able to get. Of course,
very important as well. And I find a lot of vegans getting, inefficient in certain like vitamin D levels as well.
Yeah, B12 obviously.
B12, stuff like that. So I understand what you said. If you're doing it for the right reasons for animals, respect that. But if you're doing it for fat loss and you think that's just going to be a bit healthier for you, really, really look into it before you actually chuck yourself into a vegan diet.
Yeah.
Because
and look at all the studies. like we said about not being dogmatic, Bayer Lane says. If you're looking at the studies, make sure you look at a lot of studies, not the biased studies, not the studies that say that meat's cancerous and that sort of thing. It's not true. It's how you're linking it to the people that are eating meat. If those people are cancerous because A, they eat meat, but they're also doing plenty of other things like eating meat from Macca's or inflammatory foods, or they're overweight anyway, it's correlation and not causation. So knowing what you're eating.
Yeah, exactly, guys. So it's very, very important as well. So staying on that vegan as well, like talking about, intermittent fasting and stuff like that. Yeah. And I put up a post the other way on intermittent fasting. I done a bit of a video and people just get a few replies, people getting the shits. I'm doing intermittent fasting. Why are you saying bad about intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is great. It's a great tool for fat loss. Yeah. Also for body muscle, I think, as well. Yeah. Okay? It's going to be hard for body muscle to understand because obviously calories, it depends of... I don't think meal time is important, but I think it's as important as calories in versus calories out.
Definitely not.
Yeah, but a lot of people use intermittent fasting for fat loss. Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, it's a great tool, but I think first you got to first of all think about, am I in a calorie deficit first? Then implement intermittent fasting as a tool. Yeah. That's going to help you guys build a fat. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't really realize.
Are you doing it, Damien?
I used to do it. Yeah. I used to do intermittent fasting. I had a few clients do intermittent fasting, and I've heard a lot of people do intermittent fasting. Yeah. It's great. I've lost body fat off it. Yeah. Because why? Because I came from a calorie surplus. Yeah. I was used to eating 3,000-4,000 calories a day. Yeah. So I found putting myself. Food. Yeah, exactly. Clean food. Fucking clean food. There's no clean food. Stay on that note. Here we go. There's no difference between good and bad foods. Yeah. True?
True. There's different, foods can be utilised for different things.
Yeah, there's an app called Ecolution, which I fucking love that.
No.
Have you seen it? No. So Ecolution's an app which explains different amounts of calories as well. So Ecolution is, talking about, how you might have a salad from McDonald's, a Caesar salad from McDonald's, but then you have equivalent to, let's just say a soya bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That soya bowl is going to have a shitload of calories, anywhere between 800 to 1,000, which people don't really understand. Yeah. That's why there's no difference between good and bad foods. Sugar. Yeah. You might find bad foods have less calories in than good foods. There's no difference between good and bad foods about calories.
Definitely.
I understand, bad people think bad foods like Macca's and stuff like that, which I understand. It's probably not the best food, and obviously the best macronutrients to have within your diet. Yeah. Okay, but think about it, sometimes good foods really contain a shitload of calories as well.
Exactly, yeah. And they might be saying, those Macca's might be more inflammatory for your body, but if you're consuming more calories and you're overweight, there's your information. So if it just sort of depends. If you lose weight, your digestion, your inflammation is going to go down anyway.
Like you spoke about those almonds. How many calories in one almond? 9?
What is it? There's 9 per 1 gram. Yeah. And so if you're having a handful, which is 30 grams of nuts, there's 30 times 9, which is 270 calories straight away anyway.
But how easy are they to eat those
So
things?
Easy to eat a handful of nuts.
You can just hear the nibble, and then realise that's 290 calories.
And you could have had a full chicken breast, which would keep you full.
Longer, exactly. That's why I think education is important with, obviously tracking your calories as well. Yeah. Understanding, just obviously having high proteins as well. Understanding the difference between good and bad. You got me started. The difference between, and calories in versus calories out in certain foods as well. So, Awesome, buddy. I think we're going for 56 minutes. I think we're now a bit of a break.
Thank you.
Anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that one. If you guys want to know a bit more information about Nathan, awesome guy, what's your Instagram?
Coach Nathan _McVeigh, so McVeigh. And I'll be posting all about what I do with transformations, how I live my life, and some clean health stuff.
That's it, guys. You guys make sure you guys follow him, and he's at Clean Health Fitness as well. So if you guys are in the area, also does online coaching as well.
Yeah, so guys, just send us a DM on Instagram, and we'll be able to chat about any of the questions that you have with that.
That's it, guys. Awesome. So make sure you guys check him out. And make sure you guys, before you leave this, leave a rating, because I'm doing all these podcasts for you. I'm trying to give as much content as possible. So you guys leave a rating. I'll be continuing to do more podcasts. Anyways, thank you very much, guys, and have an awesome day.